if you and I can just keep doing what we're doing,
Mhm.
slowly we can be there.
This episode is brought to you by
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chat with Nick. And today we have, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We have Faith Bautista of the National Diversity Coalition. How are you, Faith?
Fantastic. I cannot get any better than this.
Oh my God, you look so beautiful. And we're actually here in Marina del Rey, and it's so awesome. So tell me, how did you find this place?
Oh my goodness. I needed to be by the airport because I travel a lot
Mhm.
and I live in San Francisco. I go to Los Angeles a lot. So I told my daughter area, let's find a place because rather than paying for an apartment that is very, very expensive, let's buy a place where, I always believe in home ownership. When you're renting, you always throw money out of the window. So I asked her if there's any a place near the airport. Didn't even think about Marina del Rey. And she found a place and she said, I found a perfect place for you because I love to walk. I walk like 15,000 steps a day, sometimes 20, but I minimum, you should be able to walk 10,000 steps.
Mhm.
So when we found this place, I mean, just bought it right away and I'm very happy to live here.
It's such a beautiful place. I love it. And so you're definitely getting more than the minimum number of steps that you should be taking each day, right?
Right? Because exercise should be having fun. It should not be a task. So living, by the water, and just by the marina, and then I do walking meeting. So
Mm-hmm.
rather than sitting at the office, we do walking meeting, and there's a lot of beautiful coffee shops here anyway, organic, and so you're healthy. And by the time we do the 5 miles, we've already accomplished everything.
And so what do you work on like in those meetings?
So if Mick, for example, here, I did not realize that you're actually great in marketing. So if I'm going to walk with you, I'm gonna ask you your background and your working history, and then I think about the collaboration of that
Mm-hmm.
for the National Diversity Coalition or the we're big in supplier diversity, meaning access to contracts to major corporations. So the walking meeting is really finding out from each other what can we do together.
Mm-hmm.
In supplier diversity, for example, in your case, you own your own business, you do marketing, you do outreach, you're great in letter writing, fundraising. So then my brain starts thinking, I know what I can do with you or for you, or we do it together. So, and then by the time we walk, I'm going to ask you, give me your statement of qualifications. What is your goal? And then I will put you on the NDC database. And when we meet with suppliers, I will include your business as one of the preferred vendor. And,
Okay.
just one of the
Mm-hmm.
example.
So can you tell us a little bit about the National Diversity Coalition?
So National Diversity Coalition has been around since 2004. We started it from San Diego. It's an advocacy organization, and we made it statewide, and now it's national. So National Diversity Coalition, myself and the late Bob Ginesta, I would say one of the best public policy lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
He founded Public Advocates. He founded Green Lining. He was responsible for the EBT, for the food stamps. In 1968, the African American women the right to vote, and then the police officers in uh, in San Francisco to for the woman to work as a police officer. So he's done over 100 cases that he won. Uh, so he's been a good mentor for me, and he taught me a lot. Everything from being an advocate and our our logo is a giraffe,
Mm-hmm.
sticking your neck out in the for the unpopular causes. So National Diversity Coalition, in a nutshell, is the voice for the voiceless.
So coming to America as an immigrant, did you experience any kind of hardship or any kind of discrimination that made you want to stick out your head or stick out your neck for the unrepresented?
Right. I don't know anyone that was not really treated, uh, royally here in the United States. And all of us, I don't know any Filipino or any immigrant that just came here and it was hunky dory.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm no different than other people. Um, but when you come from a third world country, and a country that you know not even developing, right, from the traffic to the shortage of food to lack of education, it's very hard, right? It's um, hard to live in a third world country. So coming here, it's usually a gravy, right? It's usually a lot easier. Uh, but the adjustment of that is also harder. And even though it's hard in the Philippines, they have that slogan, it's more fun in the Philippines, or what you don't know, you don't know. So, so when I got here, yeah, just like anybody else from not speaking English fluently. You can barely speak English and you're afraid to speak English. And then you also get intimidated because of their accent and your accent. And now I tell people, you have the accent, I don't. Because my
Mm-hmm.
accent, I don't think I'll ever get rid of my accent. So, oh, definitely from bullying to putting you down to like not believing in you. But I have an attitude that I don't focus on that. I focus more on the people that believes in me, that likes me, and want to work with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you only have, 24 hours a day. I mean, I like to sleep 9 hours a day. I also want to walk for like 2 hours a
Mm-hmm.
day. So I have very limited time, plus your family. So you have very limited time to deal with people. So I always believe that I'm gonna deal with people that likes to deal with me, that we can have a good interaction. There's an ROI between the two of us, and
Mm-hmm.
have that respect among each other. So, and I don't watch, soap opera. Those are just a waste of time for me. So
And you only live once,
that's
right?
right. Yeah,
YOLO.
and I love to travel. You know,
Yes,
so
as we can see right here, this beautiful mosaic of Machu Picchu. That is
y-
so awesome.
yeah,
I love it.
where our house is almost finished. For the 2 hours from Machu Picchu in Peru. So Cusco, Peru.
That
So
is so cool.
yeah,
Is it difficult to travel up there? I've never been.
yeah. It's because the elevation, right? I mean, the Cusco, the house that it's almost done. It's 9,000 above sea level. So if you're not healthy, you're really gonna get sick.
Oh my
So
gosh.
and then I mean, if you can imagine, you go to, in comparison, right, to uh, Lake Arrowhead here, for example, um, or Lake Tahoe. That's probably 4,000. So more than double. So you have to just make sure you take Dramamine. Uh, but you know, traveling is experience. Like Machu Picchu, we went there during COVID, so there's only like two of us, really starting to just to be inside the whole um, that Machu Picchu, and the rest of the group that's going to join, there's like 8 or 10. So we got the whole Machu Picchu to ourselves. It was just beautiful. We did the same thing in Egypt, in Jordan, you know. So because we love to travel, and we really took advantage during COVID, that
Mm-hmm.
while everybody's scared to travel, it's cheaper and nobody's at the airport. So we were able to do it.
That is so cool. I mean, I wish I traveled during that time, but I was so afraid to get out of the
Right,
house.
right.
And so with all these experiences of traveling to, various countries around the world, what commonality do you see among people like made you want to help, your fellow
Yeah.
kababayans or your, like
Yeah, the
people here in
underserved
the
communities.
States?
Yes, yeah. So because I where I came from, right? I mean, my humble beginning. I live in the poorest of the poor village in Pandan Antique. So I never even watched television till I'm in college. I mean, when I was little girl, we have to pick on someone's neighbor's uh, TV, look at the window and watch television there. So I already have um, my my beginning, my history that I'm poor, so I can appreciate being poor. Um, and then when you travel more and dealing with different community groups, this is why I've been a nonprofit leader
Mhm.
since 2002. And then officially in 2004 and really made that my career. It's because of my passion and traveling a lot really helps because you can appreciate from when you go to you know the seven continents of the world, right? So traveling in the seven continents of the world except Antarctica, which I don't think I want to go to Antarctica. I already saw all the penguins in South Africa. That's good enough
That's
for
close
me.
enough.
That's good enough. And then dealing with LGBTQ, right? I mean, I know one friend that she really appreciated my work because she always felt like she's discriminated because she's lesbian.
Mhm.
But you know, um, dealing with minority groups of women um, in the Asian community, Filipinos is really underserved community. But last 3 weeks, we are now considered minority under U.S. Treasury, the Filipinos and Vietnamese. So when it comes to Asian, the sub-ethnic group of that is entirely different, right? The the Japanese, I mean, though I'm married to Japanese, I don't consider them minority because they're cut above, right? I mean, from the education to their jobs. I mean, they own so many banks, and I mean, look at Japan, right? Uh, Korea, the Chinese, but also you look at the Chinese, the rich Chinese, and the people working in Chinatown, and that's
Mhm.
too different too. The same thing with Korean, you know. Korean owns banks. I mean, it's very successful Koreans, but um, the other part of Korean, the home ownership of Korean is the same as African American, and then the African American itself too. The systemic problem of racism,
Mhm.
and just can't get out of that. The Hispanic, right? Even the Jewish community. So um, since this has been my work, I can understand all the diversity, but at the
Mhm.
same time, my goal, Mick, is to leveling the playing field.
Mhm.
That to me, it should not be based on race, the color of your skin, where you were born, or your accent, but because you can do the job.
Mhm.
So I, but I also believe in preferential um, treatment because otherwise, how do you help the systemic problem if you do not give them a push
Mhm.
when others already, like in analogy of playing football, right? They're already in the almost finish line or halfway, and a lot of us are still just starting.
Mhm.
So how do you help them push to get all the way to the
Mhm.
finish line? So there's got to be a balance on so many things.
And earlier you mentioned greenlining your co-founder for the National Diversity Coalition, started greenlining. And I know here in the United States, especially in Southern California, there's a very long history of redlining,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's something you're familiar with because you work in real
Oh
estate,
yeah.
right? And so can you tell me what the difference is? I mean, for people who are watching us right now, what is greenlining and what was redlining?
Yeah. So in the 60s, 50s, 40s, there's really redlining. I mean, blacks are not allowed to buy homes. Chinese are not even allowed to own buildings, to own a home. The the Hispanic, the American Indian, right?
Mm,
That's taken away from them. So redlining is they are not allowed to have access to capital, right? Not getting loans. You cannot live here. Um, this is mostly for white community. Uh, Otherwise, you have to go in the rural areas. I mean, this is why the Filipinos, when we first came here, right, we were part of Cesar Chavez, and Cesar Chavez and Larry Leong are two leaders who fought for farm workers.
mm,
But you know, all the Filipinos during time of Cesar Chavez understands that it was Larry at Leong also played a major role.
mm,
So and now fast forward, every time they ask me if there's still any redlining, I don't believe so. No more. Um, I There's so many changes um, that happen. Um, Unfortunately, because of the systemic problem and the access to capital doesn't look at colors, it's
mm,
still green. So sometimes you can say we were discriminated uh, by the banks or discriminated by agency, and now with the AI coming, um, would not even look at anything but whatever the um, the the requirements are, like the credit scoring, right?
mm,
So credit scoring, for example, if you have low credit score and you're poor, it gets very expensive. So sometimes we call that redlining, but it isn't also. So, oh my gosh, it's such a touchy
mm,
situation because I can sympathize that, and I don't believe on credit scoring. I'm sorry. I find that out. I find that artificial credit scoring, because me, I, during foreclosure crisis, I was honest enough that I got a wrong um, type of mortgage, a pick a pay mortgage. So of course I was only paying the interest, not the principal.
mm,
But I am more honest person, and I don't want to play the game. I said we'll just short sale the home, and I got punished for that, because when you short sale your home, your credit score goes down
mm,
because you
yeah.
did not pay the mortgage anymore. But at no fault of your own, at no fault of mine, my credit score went down. And I'm not allowed to buy a home at that time, and that was in 2010. Because, yeah, if you got a foreclosure or even short sale, not even foreclosed. I
Mm,
mean, to me, there's a big difference between short sale and and foreclosure, but I was punished. But thank God I had some lender that understands my situation. So to me, it should be the ability to repay and knowing your customer, and that's where sometimes I feel like there's still redlining.
mm,
So, and this is where National Diversity Coalition does, and it's my calling that I have to speak up for you,
mm,
and also at the same time change the policy, right? Help be at the table, to let them know, the policymakers, that you got to change some of this, you got to adjust. And this is why I'm blessed enough. I sat on so many advisory board, like I'm sitting right now on the um, Federal Commission's communication on the AI. What is AI? How would that affect the immigrants, the people of color? So those are the things that
Mm-hmm.
I can speak up. And so when they're creating the policy, they have an input from the community groups.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm blessed enough to be one of that community um, leaders, to be at the table and give them the input of what I'm hearing and what's happening on the boots on the ground.
So do you think ethnicity and race, because those factors are affected by the socio-economic situation in their home countries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, for example, like Filipinos are, granted that a lot of Filipinos are well educated,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we do have families, who are not exactly the same as everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, do you think that race and ethnicity helps in factoring in whether they need extra assistance or
Yeah, yeah. So, the supplier diversity program, right? The DNI, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
mm,
Uh, they, if you look at big corporations, they always have a DNI head. Unfortunately, very few that's Asian on the DNI.
mm,
um, and and the preferential, I still believe that has to be done because, as I said, they need a little push, and then for the community of the Filipino community, and I just have to be honest with you and the audience because I had experience and I always believe of us helping each other. But I really believe we have the crab mentality. It's because it happened to me, right? Rather than helping each other, we tend to be selfish. And I recognize now that there's three guaranteed in life: taxes, death, and saving yourself. Because when the rubber meets the road, you
mm-hmm,
will help yourself. So for the Filipinos, there is no reason for our community to be underserved because, like you said, not we're not only intelligent, but we are hardworking. You know that about yourself, your family, your neighbors, and you see that, right?
mm-hmm,
They come here, they come here to work to make good for themselves and sends money in the Philippines. You know, we're now what 14 trillion. I mean the I mean not the Philippines, but the money remittance, and Filipino Philippines is number three on the highest money remittance. So we love each other. We love our family.
mm,
But the only way Philippines can be elevated from a third world country that's been a long third world country to at least developing country when the four and a half Filipinos get our shit together here and be friendly and work together from electing the elected official, you know, whoever's running, find the right person among all of you, understand each other rather than competing, and then
mm-hmm,
all of us go out and vote. We can get a Filipino elected, but let's start somewhere.
yeah,
Let's start being a councilman or board of education or
mm-hmm,
I mean, when I was in San Diego, I was in the Parks and Recreation advisory board, but politics is not for me. It's really dirty. I can't imagine being a politician. Bless their heart, you know. Just like nonprofit, we keep asking for money
Mhm.
every month, every year. I mean, my friend told me before that I'm an excellent beggar because it's always fundraising.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, um, but for the Filipinos, if you and I can just keep doing what we're doing,
Mhm.
slowly we can be there. We
Mhm.
can get there. And if anybody is bringing you down, I believe it's your role and my role to tell this person, maybe you should not badmouth that person. Maybe you should really talk to that person, understand what happened, rather than believing in, they call it marites, right? I
Mhm.
finally realized what
What that
marites
meant.
is and who, and we all are,
Mhm.
you know. But if we believe in God and listen to all the scriptures of loving your enemies, as hard as it is, you can do that slowly by understanding spiritual warfare. You know, that it's not them,
Mhm.
it's the Satan that makes them do it. Because Satan, you know, is powerful, but no authority. So if you can ask God, God, give me the authority to be righteous, to do what I'm hearing, the scriptures, what I'm hearing in the mass, what I'm hearing in the sermon, what I'm hearing in the preaching.
Mhm.
Let's practice that every day. I'm not gonna give up. You know, I'm sure everyone knows what happened to me before I got crucified by my own Filipinos. I always believed that no, we're here to help each other. But then when my own people crucified me, it was very hurtful. But then if you go back to the reality, Jesus was crucified by his own disciples. So it's natural.
So
Um,
what was that turning point that made you decide to, want to get back up despite the many challenges and
because I'm not going to let anybody bring me down. And we shouldn't. Just because you were criticized or you were alleged or you were, told like this, no. You have to say, I am successful. I am good. I am honest. I
Mhm.
am, I am, I am, I am, I am. So, but you have to keep telling that to yourself. And I know it's very hard.
Mhm.
Trust me. It, it, I mean, when it happened to me, I was, oh my gosh, crying my heart's out and asking and so angry. But I just gave myself 1 month. And that's why I love traveling. So you
Mhm.
know what? While people are sorting this out because I really don't know what happened, let me go to Africa. Let me enjoy giraffe. Let me see how beautiful these animals are and how beautiful the world is.
Mhm.
Then when I came back, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to take the challenge. You really have to step back and understanding the situation.
Mhm. We've been talking about traveling. What is your favorite destination?
Maldives.
Oh, really? I've
Oh.
never been.
So I love to be. That's why I live in Marina del Rey. I love ocean. I
Mhm.
also love mountains. So yeah, Maldives. Before it goes away.
If we all know it's sinking, right? And so, what is it about Maldives? Is it the people, the scenery, landscape?
It's the
What is
creation
it?
of God. It's that life is short. That enjoy while you're here and while you can.
Mhm.
It's when I got to spend time with my husband and then enjoy the food and then just look at the sunset and the sunrise. Um, it's really where I needed, where Um, you need to revisit your life. What did you do wrong? What was your mistakes? And what made you successful? And then go back. What did I do wrong? And ask for forgiveness and
Mhm.
move on.
And
So
so going back to when you were a lot younger, did you have that kind of support that you're getting from, some of your friends and family, like back in the Philippines?
yeah, and that's what's so nice about our family. Everyone's family. No matter how much um poor we are or how bad it is, everyone's happy. Like, I don't know how you grew up, but me, I did not have toys when I was growing up. But I love the toys. I was just talking to my friend, um, you know, Victoria Young, Vicky Young. I mean, she and I were playing in the village. And she has no slippers, and I don't have slippers, but sometimes I do. And we just play our little toys. And look at her. See, her daughter became Miss World, you know, and look at me where I am right now. So being poor is good, actually. You appreciate your hardship. You appreciate the value of money, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what's nice about us, no? Despite of what they say, crab mentality of Filipinos, it's still fun to hang out with Filipinos. Like when I go to the Filipino chambers, I still love it. It's different, right? Because we
Mm-hmm.
know each other, we talk to each other, and then hanging out with friends right now. You know, playing poker with $20, and rather than gambling, you just have $20 and make that last for 4 hours and just have fun and laugh.
Would you say you're good at poker?
No,
Me
I
too. I don't even know how to play, but I'll join you one of these days when you
uh,
play. We have your poker
I
sessions.
know
Oh my gosh.
JR and Ellen Swing always wins.
Oh my God. Yeah, they're really good at that. Going back to National Diversity Coalition and using the metaphor sticking your head or your neck for other people who are underserved, what are the programs that, the National Diversity Coalition participates in?
Meg, thank you for asking. If I can just promote, the National Diversity Coalition is going to have a conference on
Mm-hmm.
April 5 in Mission Hills. And the reason why we do the conference is to promote and to do our program. So, supplier diversity. So, if you are a business owner and you're minority, small business, come to us. We
Mm-hmm.
will help you get a small business loan and help you how to be qualified, because most of the business owners are not qualified because they don't file income tax return, or they don't fill out the proper paperwork. And that's where I think NDC can help you, and or the businesses already that has the capacity to do business with corporate America. That's our supplier diversity. We can help you get access to these major corporations. And for the home buyers,
Mm-hmm.
if you're a first time home buyer, we can help you with the down payment assistance from the WISH program. That's from the California Housing Finance Agency, the Federal Home Loan Bank, and banks that have their own portfolio uh, will give you additional down payments. So by the time you layer different down payment assistance, you can actually have like 100,000 down payment assistance, and then helping you find a home, because we also have access to the bank owned properties or HUD properties.
Mm-hmm.
Also on the broadband, help you access with the affordable broadband. So working with Charter, Comcast, and all the utilities like Southern California Edison, SoCal Gas, SDG&E, PG&E, all of that. So from the cable, from the telecom, like the Lifeline, um, for those that the immigrants that are new here and you're still are making uh, very mm, very low, minimum wage, you can actually get a Lifeline, and that's discounted on your cell phone. So
Mhm.
pretty much we provide the government subsidy to low moderate income. So from that, and then the access to capital, contacts, contracts. So it's really cool organization actually. I mean, like I said, I sit at those policymakers and the corporations. So NDC have access to all that programs to help the immigrants.
It sounds like the National Diversity Coalition has very robust programs, and there's so many things that we can actually benefit from if we actually join your organization. And that's something that a lot of us don't really know about. Like I didn't even know about any of these programs, and
Right.
I could certainly benefit from them.
Absolutely,
Yes.
especially your business. I'm really encouraging the small businesses to come to NDC,
Mhm.
because I'm a business owner. Running a nonprofit is a business owner, and I also have my business on the side, so I can understand. I mean, when I was starting my business in 1986, I was knocking on doors in different stores to sell promotional items
Mhm.
until I got certified as minority woman-owned business, where I got a $500,000 contract in 1989, and that's a lot then. And then we can help
Mhm.
you doing business with the Department of Defense. So I'm really encouraging, and this is why I love the Filipino Chambers of Commerce and collaborating with them. And for home ownership, that's my cup of tea. I'm you know I'm a real estate agent, so I understand that. But it's really more the policy and access to home ownership. Because if you can own a home, do not rent. Just like I told you,
Mm.
I could have just rented here, but I'm $6,500. There's no way. I don't get benefits for that. I just have to save money and figure something out. Put 20% down. Now I own a home.
Mhm.
So,
Yes. And so in the conference that's coming up, can you tell everybody what they can expect?
yes, ladies and gentlemen, mga kababayan and non-Filipinos, National Diversity Coalition, um, April 5th, the workshop starts at 2 p.m. We have actually four CEOs. Banks are coming, a lot of the executives are coming, the speakers are just fabulous. And just register at nationaldiversitycoalition.org. And if you really cannot afford to come, just email me, faith at nationaldiversitycoalition.org, or go to our website.
Mhm.
This is my motto, Mick. No one should be left behind. No one. And we're gonna have Kiana Valenciano is going to perform, and the Filipinos that won in America's Got Talent.
Yes, the
So
junior news system, we're going to be performing as well.
ah
Yes.
yeah, so it's very classy. And don't make the money be a barrier for not attending the conference. Remember, this is a land opportunity. If you want it, you need it, you get it, and you ask. And that's who I am.
And I can certainly see all the value that you bring to everybody around you just by sitting here right next to you. And thank you so much, Faith. Ladies and gentlemen, Faith Bautista of the National Diversity Coalition. We'll see you soon.
Salamat!
Bye.
Time to shine, time to shine, shine bright, be the star you are, yeah. Time to shine, time to shine bright, be the star you are, yeah.
Don't miss out. Want to be seen? Want to be heard? Want lots of exposure? Ask us how.